Welcome back, motherfuckers. It is Sunday, July 13th, 10 p.m. on the East Coast. And you're watching One More Round Fights. Welcome back. I'm your host, Gav. I do this shit every Friday where we do the simulations. I do this shit on Saturday on the main card minute with Luke, Long Island Luke. And I do this shit on Sunday where I do the wrap ups, the breakdowns, the live chats, the look aheads, all of that. That's right here. This is One More Round Fights, baby. We are on the road to 500. I think we're only 5 away. 5 subs away from hitting our goal of 500. Hopefully we can do it by the end of the stream. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. If you will be so kindly to like and subscribe, scan the QR code below to sub to the channel. Left side, main card minute. Right side, One More Round Fights. You already know. And don't forget to follow on social. We also have some socials where you put out some parlays. It may or may not have hit this past weekend. Just saying. YouTube.com/One More Round Fights. One More Round Fights on Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Only on X it is One More Round F8 because Elon's got a thing about character limits. Fuck you, Elon. So yeah. Yeah, and if you get some wins off this channel, or you just want to send me some shit that you want me to take a look at, like Saul does, I appreciate that. He sends me some good food to take a look at, some tacos, some briskets, some ribs. That's my boy Saul right there. All right. But One More Round Fights at gmail.com. Send whatever you want. Just don't send any weird shit. All right. Yeah, man. We had a weekend. We had ourselves a nice little combat sports weekend. We had ourselves a little MMA on Saturday, a little boxing on Friday and Saturday. We got a lot more of that coming this week. Let me tell you. July 19th, jam-packed. Jam-packed. But, yeah, man. A little quick update. Shout out to Ben Askren doing a lot better, which is nice to see and hear over the sound waves. As you know, he was dealing with a lung transplant. He got the lung transplant, and the only complications now are to see if those lungs take and if those donated lungs work for Ben Askren. And it seems to be good progress. So I'm happy to see everything's going well for him. And yeah, we got a couple things shaking up the MMA weekend. I mean, T-Rex just got a fight announced against Michael Chandler. That's sick. There's a lot of shit going on right now. Early in the week, you feel me? Let's see what chat's bumping like. Luke's in the chat. 5 more subs. Subscribe, MFers. Please subscribe. Don't forget to do that. I'm drunk, but damn, I'm still riding the high of Nashville. Let's go. Wait, what? Really? Let's go. I respect a little Sunday fun day. I was at my cousin's I guess one of my cousin's houses, and my godson Cameron was having a little pool time, having a little fun on the swing. So it was nice to see. It was a good little Sunday fun day. So I was happy to see that, man. Good to see the little guy. He's starting to speak sentences now. He's got phrases going. He knows how to say commands and stuff. Sick. It's sick to see how quickly he's grown. So shout out to Cameron. Rob Laurie in the chat. Laughing my ass off. Let's go. One more round time. Let's go. We got Manich in the chat too. Yo, what up, Manich? How you feeling? How was your Sunday? How was your weekend? Did you make some money on Derek Lewis? I hope you did. I know our chats did. I know for fucking sure One More Rounds chats and main card minutes chats made money on Derek Lewis. Not on the Derek Lewis KO. We didn't need that. It wasn't too much money on top. We just took Derek Lewis ML, baby, money line. And guess what? Paid off. Paid off greatly. Don't forget, we're trying to hit 500. Don't be shy. We're close. We're close to that 500 sub goal. We're very, very close. So come on. Don't be shy. Get them burners out. I know you got them. But without further ado, oh yeah, shout out to our sponsor, W.GG. Use promo code One More Round for 10% off. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Moving on. Big news at heavyweight. Big fucking news at heavyweight, baby. Derek the Black Beast Lewis, the knockout king at heavyweight, adds another tally to his already giant resume. I mean, shout out to Derek Lewis. First round KO in under a minute. Derek Lewis does what Derek Lewis does best, and that's knock MFers the fuck out. Oh, yeah. I would love to see it. Derek Lewis, one of my all-time favorite fighters. I dare to say he might have entered my top 10 favorite fighters list. He just might have done it. He might have done it with that one. I mean, records on records on records on records. Most knockouts in UFC heavyweight history. Most finishes in the UFC heavyweight division. I think he's tied with Donald Cerrone. He might have just overtaken him, but he's tied with Donald Cerrone for most finishes in UFC history. Second most wins in UFC heavyweight division history. Second most bouts in UFC heavyweight division history. Second most knockdowns landed in UFC heavyweight division history. And he might have just taken all those. I mean, Derek Lewis is not far from number one in a lot of those categories if he's still number two. He is not far. Derek Lewis got some power in those hands. I mean, we said all the facts before the fight. We said Oleksandr Teixeira is young. This is going to be his 10th MMA fight. And what a tall fuck. Oh, sorry. This was going to be his 9th MMA fight. And what a tall order in your 9th MMA fight to draw Derek Lewis, the Black Beast. Most knockouts in heavyweight history. Like, who did you anger behind closed doors at the UFC, Oleksandr Teixeira? Because somebody doesn't like you. To give you Derek Lewis in your second fight in the UFC? That's kind of crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie. What did you do to deserve that? That was just, I mean, Derek Lewis lands an overhand left, drops Oleksandr Teixeira after seemingly playing possum, pretending that he got hurt, standing awkwardly on his left leg. Some people were even calling out that it may have been injured. But Derek Lewis is a crafty motherfucker. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He used his opponent's youth, lack of octagon time, lack of knowledge in MMA against him, and immediately fakes something to draw him in, throws a power shot, finishes with some hammer fists, and then referee Jason Herzog has to step in, call the fight. Derek Lewis gets another one. And now there's a question on what to do with this big galoot. Because what do you do with Derek Lewis? I mean, he's fought most of the guys ahead of him at heavyweight. And you don't want to make him fight under him after a fight like that. I mean, he just showed you what he can do to the 13, the 12, the 11, possibly 10 guy if he got a rematch with Tai Tuivasa. So Derek Lewis, you earned yourself a nice fight with Waldo Cortez Acosta. That's the fight I see here. That's a fight he hasn't had yet. I mean, he's fought most of the other guys: Nascimento, Almeida, Spivak, Pavlovich, Tui, Gane, Blades, Volkov, Tybura, if I didn't mention him already. I don't know if Abdurakhimov is ranked. Is he? Nope. Budai is. Interesting. Shamil Gaziev is. But yeah, I feel like Waldo Cortez Acosta, 3 spots up from Derek Lewis. He already fought Spivak. He already fought Tybura. He lost to Almeida. Don't give him Almeida. He already beat Blades, but Blades is about to drop suddenly. So, yeah, Waldo Cortez Acosta seems like the only fight that should be next for Derek Lewis. We don't want to see a rematch. We want to see something fresh with this guy. And if he could knock out another up-and-comer on his way back up to the title, creating himself another case to fight Tom Aspinall, well, that would be a fire way to reintroduce Derek Lewis back into the heavyweight division. I mean, we need new blood for Tom, don't we? We don't want to keep hoping for this Jones rematch after this Gone fight. So, hey, man, if Lewis could get one more win, maybe sometime next year, heavyweights then. I'm just saying. I am just saying. And Taliesin Teixeira, unfortunately for you, my friend, I feel like Muhammad Usman or Walter Walker. Walter Walker fought on the same card. We'll talk about him later. And Muhammad Usman looking pretty good as of late. He needs a way to get back. He needs a way to get into the top 15. Both of those guys do. So I feel like this would be a perfect setup. Taliesin Teixeira to take on one of these two guys. You get to pit your young guys against each other to see who's the cream of the crop. And I feel like Walter Walker and Muhammad Usman would pass that test. I haven't seen anything out of Taliesin Teixeira that would make me think that he would turn both those guys back. So, yeah. Heavyweight's going to be fun, man. I mean, every time you put a heavyweight fight at the top of the billing, it should end like that. Sometimes we don't get that. Sometimes we get some slop. But it was amazing to see a guy like Derek Lewis, such a big personality, such a fun fighter, get a win like that and get to show out for a crowd that loves him because, as you know, he is from the South. He's from Texas. So, yeah, shout out to Derek Lewis. Shout out to the Black Beast. Shout out to his team. Shout out to his household right now. And, yeah, Derek Lewis wins us a lot of money. That's my guy. That's my guy. Rob says most Popeyes eaten in UFC history. Him and DC would come close. I'm telling you, DC's from Louisiana. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. That boy knows how to eat some Popeyes. All right. There's a reason he had that Popeyes little video that we love to show with the cake and chicken. Okay. Don't forget. Rob says, give him Tom, nice money maker for him towards the end of his career and give Tom a champion defense and builds Tom up at the same time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if we get a nice Derek Lewis, Waldo Cortez Acosta fight, I think Derek Lewis could win that fight, whether it's a 3-round decision. I could see him taking 2 rounds off power punches or he knocks him out. And then after he gets that win, I feel like Derek Lewis would be in a nice position. I mean, he's only on a 2-fight win streak right now. He beat Rodrigo Nascimento, who's not even in the UFC anymore, and Taliesin Teixeira. He lost to Jailton Almeida. He lost to Sergey Spivak. He lost to Sergey Pavlovich. He lost to Taito Ivasa. So 3 wins in their last 7 isn't exactly title shot material, but 3 wins in a row is. So, yeah. I got to see him get one more win before we march him in there with Tom. But, yeah, man, Derek Lewis, I love that guy. Rest of UFC Nashville. Let's start from the top and go to the bottom, shall we? Let's start with Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis defeats Taliesin Teixeira. TKO punches round 1, 35 seconds. It was almost less than 30 seconds, y'all. Damn. It should have probably been less than 30 seconds, but Herzog gave him every chance he could until he started grabbing the fence and getting up. He was like, nah, we're not doing that. Gabriel Bonfim defeats Stephen Wonderboy Thompson via split decision. Now, some people think this was a robbery. Some people think Wonderboy deserved to win the fight. I am not in that school of thought. Gabriel Bonfim might have lost round 1. Wonderboy looking good because most of that round was on the feet. But then Bonfim at the end of the round gets a takedown and works Wonderboy. I think he steals that round, right? So round 1, Bonfim. Round 2 happens. Bonfim does a lot of the same work, gets the takedown a little earlier, makes Stephen Wonderboy Thompson work. As they break, Wonderboy Thompson throws, I forget what he throws. He throws a kick, it splits his leg off the check, I believe. And then almost immediately after, he throws that same leg that was split into a head kick at Bonfim and drops him. But Bonfim recovers well. I'm not sure that he dropped him. He might have wobbled him, but he definitely hurt Bonfim. And Bonfim gets his wits back about him and controls Wonderboy for the rest of the round. Even though he got hurt that was the one moment for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I still gave that round to Gabriel Bonfim. And the last round is the round that I give to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who does a lot of good work on the feet. He stays on his feet for most of the fight, defends a lot of the takedowns from Bonfim. 29-28 across the board for me, for Bonfim. Some people thought Wonderboy did enough to win the fight because he hurt him in round 2, and he was doing a lot of work in round 3. Some people even thought he won round 1 as well. Some people were calling for a 30-27 Wonderboy, but there's no real incentive for them to give Wonderboy that win. Gabriel Bonfim gets it. Steve Garcia defeats Calvin Kattar via unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. Calvin Kattar. People are saying Calvin Kattar is now featherweight Tony Ferguson. Now, come on now. Don't belittle the accomplishments of Tony Ferguson like that. Come on now. Tony Ferguson is an interim champ. Tony Ferguson has fought and beaten a lot of your favorite fighters. Okay? Put some respect on Tony Ferguson, please. He's a tough bastard, all right? I mean, big respect to Calvin Kattar, too. I'm not saying that he's not a good fighter as well. I'm just saying I don't think these guys are in the similar category just because they're on losing streaks, you know? I mean, we could put a lot of guys in the same category because they're in losing streaks. But yeah, Michael Johnson. Why did I say Michael Johnson? Calvin Kattar. Why the fuck did I just say Michael Johnson? Man. Calvin Kattar, yeah, 0-4, 0-5 in his last few fights. And then Tony Ferguson, 0-8 in his last few fights. So I get it. But remember, Tony Ferguson beat Cowboy, Anthony Pettis, Kevin Lee, Rafael Dos Anjos, Edson Barbosa. You know, he was an interim champ. Calvin Kattar just had the knockout of Jeremy Stevens, the knockout of Ricardo Lamas, and a war against Max Holloway where he was a punching bag. Nah, man. But anyways, Calvin Kattar, Steve Garcia looked really good. Despite Calvin Kattar kind of just following him around the cage, getting his defense up and eating a lot of the shots on the arms, Steve Garcia was getting some work done, and he even hurt Kattar pretty bad. Kattar was stumbling around, got his wits back, and stayed in the fight. But that was a hell of a move from Steve Garcia. He proves that his power can go up against anyone at featherweight. I think he's a Jackson Wink guy. Yeah, he is now on a 6-fight win streak, beating Chase Hooper, Nerda Bieke, Makizio Costa, Chu Sung Hu, Kyle Nelson, and Calvin Kattar. I mean, let's see the rankings for him now. 45. He just beat Calvin Kattar, who's number 14, so he's going to find himself at 15 or 14, and Calvin Kattar is going to find himself out of the featherweight rankings. We got some new blood. Steve Garcia at 15 or 14. I love it. Right behind David Onama. Dan Igue's got a fight against Patricio Pitbull coming up. That's going to be Patricio Pitbull's second chance to get into the top 15. So we could see a lot of movement at featherweight soon. I'm excited for that division, man. Steve Garcia looked really good. He looks like he's going to be a tough matchup because he's so long for anybody at featherweight. So Steve Garcia, shout out to him. Shout out to his camp. Greg Jackson, you still doing good work over there. I see the recipe hasn't changed. We're still cooking up some good shit over there. Morgan Charrier defeats Nate Landwehr. Round 3, 27 seconds. Tough fight. Nate Landwehr was coming on, man. Oh, Nate the Train. Nate the Train, baby. Oh, man, it was so close. That was definitely fight of the night. And those boys definitely deserve $50,000 bonuses because Morgan Charrier was doing a lot with the leg kicks, chewed up the front left leg of Nate Landwehr in that first round. But Nate Landwehr at the end of the round started switching up his combos from 1s and 2s to 2s and 1s. And he started, as Morgan Charrier was retreating, started to catch him on the exits. And he figured that was going to be his game plans for rounds 2 and 3 for as long as the fight lasted. And that game plan worked really well in round 2 because Nate Landwehr completely dominated that round. I think he tripled up the significant strikes on Morgan Charrier that round. And it was a 1-1 fight going into round 3. And Nate Landwehr gets the crowd excited, pumps him up right at the beginning of that round 3, and it may have bit him in the ass because he goes out there trying to make an impression, lands a couple good early strikes on Morgan Charrier. Morgan Charrier starts pushing him back to get it back, and the mistake that Landwehr made was that he kept going backwards instead of coming forwards against Charrier still, and then he ate a barrage of strikes, a few big overhands that put him down and folded him up against the cage, and the referee had to call a stop to it because he just got hurt way too many times in that sequence, and it was a good stoppage. Morgan Charrier deserved that win. It was a big KO win for him. Solid dubber. Can't hate him for it. The crowd got a fantastic fight out of it, and that was definitely the fight of the night. Also on the card, Vitor Petrino defeats Austin Lane via submission, rear naked choke. Round 1, 4 minutes and 16 seconds. Immediately takes him down, which we thought would be Austin Lane's game plan. Vitor Petrino switching up the script there. Has a head and arm choke, doesn't end up getting it, gives up on it, takes full mount, beats him up with some elbows and punches. Austin Lane gives him his back. Petrino grabs the neck up. He fights it a couple times, but then eventually just gives it up. Vitor Petrino gets the sub win and gets his first big win at heavyweight. He switched from light heavyweight to heavyweight. He looks like he's going to stay there. He looked good, and his size looked like it was comparable to Austin Lane. Even though Austin Lane looked like the much bigger fighter, that obviously didn't matter because Vitor Petrino was easily able to take him down and control him for the entirety of round 1 until he got the finish with 45 seconds left. So, yeah, Vitor Petrino is going to look good at heavyweight. Again, we got some more blood at heavyweight. I'm just saying it's going to be a fun time. We got fun times coming in 2026 at heavyweight. That's all I got to say. Tuco Tokos defeats Junior Tafa via submission, arm triangle choke, round 2, 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Junior Tafa looking like a Tafa out there. If he can't land that big shot, he's going to get taken down. He's going to get finished. He's going to get beaten up. And that's what Tuco Tokos did, man. He took him down immediately, wore on him, put a lot of pressure on his neck and his head, made it really hard for him to get up, made him waste a lot of energy, and eventually he gassed himself out. Junior Tafa hurts Tuco Tokos at the beginning of round 2, and it looks like he's going to turn the tide and win the fight. And then Tokos gets him down. Eventually Tafa is just too gassed. He looks for the neck and grabs it with that arm triangle. Sad for Tafa, but happy for Tokos. On the prelims, Chris Curtis defeats Max Griffin in a frustrating fight via split decision, 28-29, 29-28, 29-28. Chris Curtis. Fighting interestingly, to say the least. I mean, this has been his biggest issue, his inactivity in fights and banking on landing the big shot rather than racking up some points when points are easily available to him and his opponent doesn't seem to be on his level. But Chris Curtis lets Max Griffin hang around in the fight, even though he hurt him a couple times. Rather than cutting the cage off, he follows him for a lot of the fight. And Max Griffin nearly steals a win away from Chris Curtis. This would have been the second time in 2 fights that Chris Curtis possibly was on the route to victory and gets the fight stolen from him. So he's really got to fix a couple things in his game plan because this is not going to translate well to winning fights. If he's having a tough time with Max Payne Griffin, who's nearly 40 years of age and on the outs, how's he going to fare with regular welterweights when he was fighting the best of the best at middleweight? You know what I mean? It's going to be a tough go. He's going to be equal to or less than what he was at middleweight. So I'd like to see him fix a couple things in his game plan. He's a great fighter. He just needs to figure out a way to trap fighters better and force the action, especially when he has the power advantage, seems to have the speed advantage, and definitely the durability advantage. But he gets a big win at welterweight again. This guy, another fighter on the card, moving weight classes, this time moving down. and this time getting a win, unlike Justin Tafa, who moved down from heavyweight to light heavyweight. So shout out to Chris Curtis, shout out to Eric Nixick, shout out to Sean Strickland. I'm glad to see those guys are friends again. Glad to see they're chilling, and they've resolved the beefs that they've had over, I don't know what it was, but Curtis had his reasons, and now they've gotten past that. So glad to see it. I don't know if these two are good for each other or bad for each other at this point, because I see a lot of Strickland and Curtis, and I see a lot of Curtis and Strickland sometimes. And that might not be the best thing. That might not be the best thing, but those two are entertaining as all hell. And I also love to see that Strickland was saying that he has a hit list of guys that have been talking shit at 170 that he can now sick Chris Curtis on. He was saying that Michael Chiesa is on that list. He was saying that Bilal Muhammad was on that list. He was saying a whole bunch of things, but you got to get some wins and solid wins to get to those guys. You can't fight like that against these top welterweights and expect to get a win and expect to get these matchups, because they're not going to give it to him unless he gets to that echelon of the division. So I'm glad he got the win, because even Nixick was looking frustrated in that corner visibly throughout the fight. So yeah, shout out to Chris Curtis. I'm glad he won though, because he's one of my favorite fighters to watch. Action man, Chris Curtis. Jake Matthews defeats Chitty Bang via submission. Rear naked choke, round 1, 1 minute and 9 seconds. There was no sweat in any Jake Matthews bets. Jake Matthews has been in the UFC for a decade now, over a decade, and is now coming into his own as a UFC fighter. He got a huge submission win over Chitty Bang. Jumps on the choke right away. Chitty Bang tries to separate the feet to make him fall off the side, but Jake Matthews, still early, still very dry, still very strong, uses all the strength he has in his arms to stay on that choke. Chitty forces the tap. He's forced to tap. Jake Matthews, a fantastic submission win. I would love to see him crack the top 15 finally. He's been in the UFC such a long time, just having his way. And fortunately, there's a guy on this card that just cracked the top 15 after beating Wonderboy. That will crack the top 15 after beating Wonderboy. That would be a great fight for Jake Matthews next. A grappler's delight between Jake Matthews and Gabriel Bonfim. I'd love to see that matchup next. Another two guys that fought on the same card. I'd love to see them match up. It's an easy matchup to make. And if we don't get that matchup for against Gabriel Bonfim, I hear that MMA Guru wants Randy Rude Boy Brown to go against Gabriel Bonfim to get justice back for Wonderboy. And I love that matchup, because that's another guy that should be cracking the top 15 very, very soon. Randy Rude Boy Brown. So welterweight's about to heat up as well. I mean, we got a couple welterweight, heavyweight. They're kind of the it divisions right now. I mean, light heavyweight's kind of stagnant. We got probably a rematch coming up. Middleweight is kind of fire, but it's only fire at the top. Welterweight's, a firecracker right now. Lightweight's kind of weird. It's kind of weird limbo right now, because the top fighters have all been beaten, or they're kind of being matched up in retirement fights. So it's kind of weird there. And then featherweight, we got Volk back. What do you expect? Bantamweight, Marab's going to, welterweight and heavyweight are it right now. That's where I'm at. My focus is all the way on welterweight and heavyweight right now. I can't wait. That's going to be fun as hell to see that shit play out. Eduardo Mora defeats Lauren Murphy via unanimous decision, 29-28, 29-28, 29-28. This was a retirement fight for Lauren Murphy. Glad to see her retire on a solid performance, because she almost got herself a submission win over Eduardo Mora. And then, shit happens. Lauren Murphy gave us a scare there quickly. She looked like she was on her way to winning the fight in her retirement fight, but then Eduardo Mora gets back on it and wins the fight 29-28, 29-28, 29-28. Shout out to Lauren Murphy on a great career. She fought a who's who at flyweight and bantamweight. I mean, Miesha Tate, who else? Valentina Shevchenko, our GOAT. Jessica Andrade, Joanne Calderwood, Roxanne Modafferi, Andrea Lee, Barb Honchak, Caitlin Chukagian, Liz Carmouche, Sarah McMahon. I mean, that's a sick resume. And she's only lost to 6 people. Still has 7 now. But still a sick resume. That's all I got to say. So shout out to Lauren Murphy on a fantastic career. She was a solid grappler to watch. And she was always an interesting fight. You know, she was always in it. But Eduardo Mora goes on. And just a side note on Eduardo Mora, I will never be putting money on Eduardo Mora again. I'm sorry. That performance did not impress me. I am not impressed with your performance. But someone that I am very impressed with their performance, Walter Walker, calls his heel hook. As did Derek Lewis call his first round KO, by the way. And pulls it off against Kennedy Nzechukwu. A heel hook via submission, round 1, 54 seconds. Walter Walker looking like the most interesting heavyweight that we can see on the board as of late. Who would be more interesting right now? Obviously Derek Lewis, because he just got a huge KO win. But like, besides that obvious answer, I mean, Cyril Gane, we already got that matchup booked. Volkov, we know what happens there. Pavlovich, we know what happens there. Blades, we know what happens there. We just saw what happened there. Jonathan Almeida, I have no faith in him beating Tom Aspinall. No offense to him, but Tom Aspinall probably bricks him real quick. Waldo Cortez Acosta, come on. Marcin Tybura, Sergey Spivak. Tai Tuivasa, if he gets in shape and gets serious, he intrigues me for sure. He's always got that power and knockout ability. Mick Parkins, a training partner of Tom Aspinall, so that's out of the question. Budai, Kuniev, maybe Kuniev, but yeah, Kuniev and maybe Walter Walker are my most interesting options that aren't Derek Lewis. So shout out to Walter Walker with a big heel hook win. This is the 3rd or 4th time he's done this. We have to find out. This is of the utmost importance. Walter Walker might be a problem. Also, if you don't already know, he's the brother of Johnny Walker. Yeah, UFC light heavyweight Johnny Walker. Yeah. So this would be his 2nd heel hook? 3rd heel hook. This time inverted. Sorry. So this was Walter Walker's 3rd heel hook. 2 regular, 1 inverted heel hook. I mean, need I say more? Tom Aspinall's loss, one of his losses, by heel hook. I feel like we got a specialist. I definitely see a kryptonite Superman thing. I see this brewing. If Walter Walker keeps winning, the UFC's got media building itself. This was a big heavyweight building card for the UFC, as you can see. As you can see, between Vitor Petrino, Derek Lewis, Walter Walker, you know. Elsewhere on the card, Mike Davis defeats Mitch Ramirez via TKO, flying knee and punches. Round 2, 4 minutes and 8 seconds. What a finish. What a finish. Shout out to Mike Davis, big comeback. I think his name's Beast Boy. His nickname's Beast Boy. Like DC Beast Boy. So shout out to him for also being a nerd. Shout out to Mike Davis. One of us. But anyways, big win for him. A bounce back win as well. I figured he would win this fight any way he wanted to. I thought it was going to be a sub. It ended up being a TKO. A finish was inevitable for Mike Davis because of his style. He's just too good and such an imposing force. So shout out to Mike Davis on another big win. And shout out to our girl Fatima Klein. New York, baby. Stand up. What a KO. Round 3. 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Now, I may have been mad about it at the time because I had the over and the decision. I didn't have the over. I had the decision. But Fatima Klein gets a huge win over Melissa Martinez. Big head kick. Drops her immediately. And yeah, Fatima Klein, one of the biggest wins of her career and an absolute highlight. Shout out to her and her team. She's been working hard and getting finishes. She's solid. If you're curious about who got bonuses on this card, there's $50,000 bonuses for Morgan Charrier and Nate Landwehr for fight of the night. Well deserved. And the performance of the night bonuses went to the heel hook by Walter Walker. And of course, that head kick by Fatima Klein. But I definitely expect Derek Lewis to get a little $50,000 check from the boss, possibly even more because of his win. I mean, 1 minute KO, basically 30-second KO, another highlight, adding more stats that the UFC can play for future highlights. Come on, bro. Slide him some paper. That's all I got to say, Dana. Slide him some paper, bro. What are we doing? Oh, wait. Rob says, give him... Oh, yeah, we did that. Wheels Up in the house. What up, Wheels Up? Was the best fight night of the year for the UFC? Absolutely. For me, that was the best fight night of the year. For me. I mean, 2 TKOs to start. Then we got a submission. Then we got a decision, which was expected in a flyweight fight. But then we got another sub. And then what could have been a great fight between Chris Curtis and Max Griffin, which ended up being a decent fight. And then we get the Tuco Tucas upset of Junior Tafa with the sub. We get the Vitor Petrino sub. We get the Morgan Charrier versus Nate Landwehr KO. Then we get a sick decision fight from Steve Garcia throwing bombs at Calvin Kattar, even dropping Calvin Kattar at one point. Then we get a war between Bonfim and Stephen Wonderboy. We get a highlight of Wonderboy splitting his leg and then nearly knocking out Bonfim, almost turning back the clock. And then we get an actual Derek Lewis turning back the clock, getting a knockout in round 1 in 30 seconds, cashing as a plus 200 dog. Yeah, that was absolutely the fight night of the year. Nashville, Tennessee will not be forgotten by the UFC. Definitely not. Rob Luria says, it was a good card. Also, good night for the heavyweight division. Every heavyweight fight finished with a good finish. Good step in the right direction for the heavyweight division to build on. Absolutely. Man, heavyweight's looking good. They really turned it around because what was the record? Like the 14 or something straight heavyweight fights without finishes, and then we come with 3 straight right there. 3 straight finishes. Like, that's heat, baby. That's how you turn it around. That's how you, that's like Michael Bush or Cody Bellinger hitting 3 home runs in a game right there. That's like, I've been in a little slump, and then pop, I'm fucking smacking him. And Cody Bellinger has been smacking him ever since. I don't think he did well today, but you know what I mean. Michael Bush hit one today, though. Lazy Bet in the house. Yo, let's go. What's good, Lazy? How you feeling? Are you a little Sunday fun day? You chilling? You relaxing? Rob Luria says, what are you rating this card out of 10 from prelim to main? I got to give that a solid 9. 8.59. I don't. If Chris Curtis went to war with Max Griffin and got a finish, that this would probably elevate the card to a 9. I'm gonna go 8.5. Because remember, it's a fight night. It's a fight night. You got to remember, quality of the fights matter, but this far exceeded expectations for a fight night. Like far exceeded expectations. The Fatima Klein fight exceeded expectations. The Mike Davis fight with a flying knee exceeded expectations. Walter Walker exceeded expectations. Jake Matthews exceeded expectations. Vitor Petrino, Tuco Tucas, Morgan Charrier, and Nate Landwehr somehow exceeded expectations. We knew that was going to be a war, and that fight was even better than we thought it would be. And then Steve Garcia and the Eduardo Mora fight, yeah, it is what it is. But we got controversy in Bonfim and Thompson. Every good card needs a little controversy. And then we end it with a heavyweight main event knockout first round by our guy. Yeah, come on, bro. What are we doing? That's 8. That's 8.5. That's the highest score I could possibly give for a fight night. That's the highest score I could possibly give for a fight night. Some would say 8 is the highest you can give for a fight night. I say 8.5. That card was an 8.5. Solid 8.5. Wheels Up says Lewis versus Tom would be good for biz. Speaking of building, yeah, I'm telling you. And Tom never been to like a third round in the UFC, Derek Lewis, a lot of first round finishes. Him, a lot of first round finishes. Who's the king? I mean, they already booked a fight just like that between Michael Chandler and Terrence T-Rex McKinney. Might as well get another one in the future. But like I said, Lewis needs one more fight before he gets into a title shot with Tom Aspinall, or else it looks like they're just throwing shit at the wall on Tom Aspinall. They still got to build him. They can't just give him anybody. They can't just be marching fucking Chris Barnett in there. You know what I mean? There's got to be some some direction on this. But yeah, that's UFC Nashville. Unfortunately, guys, I am not doing a fighter spotlight this week. No fighter spotlight this week. It was going to be Fatima Klein or it was going to be Walter Walker. I just feel like it's not the time for it. It's not the time for it. Just a wee bit early. Maybe one more learn from either, and then we'll get into it. But yeah, no fighter spotlight this week, unfortunately. But you can bet your ass we can be coming with one next week. There's too many fights next week to not have a fighter spotlight. Okay? So you can bet your ass there's one coming soon. There was some boxing that happened this weekend. Katie Taylor took on Amanda Serrano for the third time. And unfortunately, this was the worst fight out of the three fights, but it was the clearest fight out of the three fights because Katie Taylor clearly won that fight, in my opinion. Serrano followed a little bit too much, was on the back foot. They did throw a lot, didn't land too much, but they still landed a solid amount. And the right fighter won, as we expected. Katie Taylor, 3-0 on Amanda Serrano. This time she came into the fight as a dog, so that was unexpected. I definitely thought she was going to come in as like a minus 200, minus 300 favorite because of the 2 wins over Amanda already. Well, yeah. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Katie Taylor is your champion. And you got to respect it because she fought her heart off. She fought her ass off in there. She poured out everything in that first and second fight. And then she didn't want to make this third fight any bit of the war that those first two were. And you got to respect that for Katie Taylor. I mean, she already proved that she can go to war with this woman and win the fight. Now she just has to prove she can outbox her, and that's what she did. So, Katie Taylor, huge win. Amanda Serrano, unfortunately, is one of those fighters that's going to be just below where we thought they could be at this point and in this division against this opponent, because there shouldn't be a case to make a fourth fight. I just couldn't see. I mean, she has to knock out like 4 girls in a row or something for us to make a fourth fight at this point, because I just don't see a fourth fight happening. Amanda Serrano, a fantastic fighter. I mean, the 30 plus knockouts, 47 wins. But Katie Taylor just a little bit better. And sometimes two fighters, two all-time greats in the same era, this happens. This happens sometimes. And Katie Taylor is proving to be the A side, and Amanda Serrano proving to be the B side in this scenario. But make no mistakes about it, Amanda Serrano still beats every single girl in this division that's not Katie Taylor. So don't you look at Amanda Serrano like she's not as great as she is, because she's one of the greatest fighters that we've ever seen. She's fought in MMA. She's fought in boxing. She's fought, I believe, in jiu-jitsu as well. Amanda Serrano is her. It's just not the case when she's up against Katie Taylor. So shout out to Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor ends up winning the fight via majority decision. 95-95, 97-93, 97-94. And that's how I saw the fight as well. That 95-95 a little weird, not going to lie, because I didn't see it that close. But that 97-93, that 97-94 makes sense to me. Makes complete sense to me. So Katie Taylor is your undisputed super lightweight champion. And she proves that she's a level and a head above the rest. So shout out to Katie Taylor. Elsewhere on the card, this if you don't already know, this was an all-female card, guys. And I almost said it delivered. I'd be pushing it if I said that. It entertained. Let's say that. Alicia Baumgartner defeats Jennifer Miranda via unanimous decision, 98-92, 98-92, 97-93. people didn't see it that way. I felt like Alicia was winning the fight. Some people were saying that she may have even lost the fight to Jennifer Miranda. But I believe that Alicia Baumgartner was landing the more powerful shots, even though she may not have been landing as much. She may have been getting caught with some jabs on her way in. She was landing the more powerful strikes between the two, and she made it count when she did. So for me, she deserved to be the undisputed super featherweight champion. And Alicia Baumgartner gets another big win. I'm excited to see who they match her up against next. She did have a couple familiar faces in her corner that people may have thought a curse was going to be happening because of that, but we're glad to see that the curse did not come to fruition and that Alicia Baumgartner gets the win because she deserves it, man. And she's a fun fighter, great fighter to watch. And yeah. Shadeja Green defeats Savannah Marshall via split decision. 95-94 Green, 96-93 Marshall, 96-93 Green. This was for the IBF and WBO Super Middleweight Championship. And Shadeja Green, newly signed Most Valuable Promotions fighter, as is Alicia Baumgartner, gets the big win. Shadeja Green looked good, man. She was landing a lot of powerful punches. Savannah Marshall moving back too much at times. Seemingly playing possum up against the ropes as Shadeja Green just overwhelmed her with punches. She didn't seem to have the power advantage, so Shadeja Green just crowded her, and I think that's what won the fight. Shadeja Green looked great, and she deserved that win. Ellie Scottney defeats Yamelith Mercado via unanimous decision, 190, 98, 92, 98, 92. This was for the IBF, WBO, and WBC Super Bantamweight Championships. And Ellie Scottney puts on a clinic against Yamelith Mercado. I mean, she pieced her up, cut her up above the eyes, had her bloodied, had her bruised, overwhelmed her mostly throughout the fight. I didn't see Mercado even winning 2 rounds. Not even 1 round, honestly. Maybe round 2. That's it. I mean, Scottney absolutely blanked her. And it still went all 10 rounds. And the reason I say that is because on the prelims, we had an undisputed bantamweight championship fight. Again, a championship fight between Shernika Johnson and Shurietta Metcalf. And Shernika Johnson defeats Shurietta Metcalf via 9th round TKO. But this knockout comes with a little controversy because the referee decides to end the fight because he doesn't like the way that Metcalf was reacting to the punches. Now, she was eating a few punches in rounds 6 and 7 where it looked like Shernika could have put her foot on the gas and maybe ended the fight. But in round 8, Metcalf was putting it on Shernika at the end of it. And Shernika taking this fight on short notice might have looked like she was starting to gas in round 8, which is the point at which the referee decided to step in and call the fight off. So a little interesting there, but Shernika Johnson definitely deserved to win the fight, and she is rightfully the undisputed bantamweight champion. Just an interesting way to end a fight, especially a championship fight. Because remember, a championship fight is a fight to change someone's life effectively. And for the referee to take that away from Metcalf, that's egregious, man. That's fucked up. Seriously. Some of these fighters have waited their entire lives to get into this championship fight. And yeah, they're going to eat some lumps here and there, but remember, this is a championship fight. I don't care if they're females. Male, female, whatever. This is a championship fight. You got to give them every chance to stay in the fight. And again, Shernika Johnson was hitting her, but not with the type of power that we're used to seeing, guys. This wasn't, you know, the GWOAT hitting her with heavyweight punches. This is bantamweight. This is Shernika Johnson at bantamweight. And the ref was like, I don't like the way she's taking. It just doesn't make any sense to me, especially when we see Ellie Scottney cutting up Yamelith Mercado, bloodied and bruised, and they're letting that fight go 10 rounds. So, yeah, interesting to me. Elsewhere on the prelims, WBC interim super lightweight title fight between Chantel Cameron and Jessica Kamara ends in unanimous decision for Chantel Cameron, 99-91, 98-92, 99-91. Chantel Cameron was winning everywhere. At super bantamweight, Ramla Ali defeats Lila Furtado in unanimous decision, 77-75, 77-75, 78-74. Some thinking it was a controversial decision. Ramla thinking she rightfully won the fight. Even Ariel Helwani saying to Ramla Ali's face that he thought that Furtado won the fight. But the judges and history will show that Ramla Ali won the fight. And it is what it is. Boxing is boxing. And you got to deal with the consequences when you let it get to the judges. At middleweight, Tam Tebow defeats Mary Casamasa via 5th round TKO. And that completes the Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor coverage by yours truly. Let's check this chat. Rob says, would you say Taylor is to women boxing what Ronda was to women MMA? I wouldn't say she's on the same stardom level, but pioneer-wise, I think they're comparable. Yeah, but definitely not on the stardom level because just relatively, Ronda was global and Katie Taylor's like Ireland and maybe American. UK and maybe some Americans kind of are into Katie Taylor, but Ronda was like a phenomenon. And Katie doesn't have that type of pull. Ronda was something else. Luke in this house, let's go. He's still lit off the bruise. He is definitely still lit off the bruise. I hope he's feeling nice. Edgar Berlanga took on Hamzah Sheeraz. I'm saying so many ums today. I hate when I say Hamzah Sheeraz defeats Edgar Berlanga via 5th round KO. Drops him multiple times. Round 4 was a sloppy one for Berlanga. He ate a few punches, got dropped twice, gets back up, face hits the canvas, all that. Round 5, he comes out. Hamzah Sheeraz jumps on him right away, hurts him bad, falls to his face. Ref has to call that. Ref has to call it. Edgar Berlanga was just eating way too many shots from Hamzah Sheeraz. He had the length, he had the power advantage, he had the chin, and he backed up his trash talk, and Berlanga did not back his up. Unfortunately, all the stuff that he was doing throughout the fight week, his feuds with Oscar De La Hoya, all that extracurricular stuff may have gotten into his head because he did not come out the fighter that we expected to see. And Hamzah jumped on him and finished him rather quickly. It looked like an easy win for Hamzah Sheeraz. Also on the card, WBC lightweight title fight between Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda. It ends in unanimous decision for Shakur Stevenson, 118-110, 118-110, 119-109. Shakur Stevenson getting hurt in the fight by Zepeda, but still standing in the pocket, fighting William Zepeda and winning the fight handily. Shakur Stevenson silencing all the haters, getting another big win against another guy that people thought could beat him and stop his style. But Shakur Stevenson does what he does best, points fights his way to a decision win and makes the judges understand that there is a dominant fighter in this fight, and he is the only one that should be that dominant fighter. Shakur Stevenson has one style of fight, and it wins fights. Now, if he gets into a fight with somebody that brings the war to him at the highest level, we may see a different style come out of Shakur Stevenson. But right now, he has to protect the crown. He has to protect the belts. And right now, his belt is the WBC lightweight title. So he had to win that. And he did. Shout out to Shakur Stevenson and his team. At super lightweight, there was a WBC title fight between Subriel Matias and Alberto Puello. And Subriel Matias wins via majority decision, 114-114, 115-113, 115-113. Shout out to Subriel Matias in a hard-fought battle against Alberto Puello. It was a war. They went at it, but Subriel Matias gets the job done. I think Subriel Matias got hurt in the fight as well, but fights back. At light heavyweight, David Morrell defeats Imam Kataev via split decision, 94-95, 96-93, 95-94. Some people are thinking it's a robbery. I don't know. But David Morrell gets the win. Solid fight, comeback fight for him as well. And I'm glad to see that he gets the win because he's a fun fighter to watch and he could take a lot of guys out. So big win for David Morrell. At featherweight, Reito Sutsumi defeats Michael Ruiz via second round TKO. And that completes my coverage of Edgar Berlanga and Hamzah Sheeraz. But don't forget, we got some boxing. We got some boxing coming up. And big fights coming up. July 19th, we got a triple header. Okay? First in Las Vegas, we have a Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios fight. 12 rounds for Barrios' WBC welterweight title. Then we have Fundora Zoo for Fundora's WBC and WBO junior middleweight titles. 12 rounds as well. Then we have Isaac Cruz and Angel Fierro in a rematch. We'll go over that later. But that's a junior welterweight. And then we have Brandon Figueroa and Yoet Gonzalez, 12 rounds at featherweight. That's on the July 19th Las Vegas card. Then on July 19th in Frisco, Texas on the Zone, we have Jesse Bam Rodriguez taking on Cafu. 12 rounds for Rodriguez's WBC junior bantamweight title and Cafu's WBO junior bantamweight title. Also on the card, we have Diego Pacheco taking on Trevor McCumbee, 12 rounds at super middleweight. Trevor McCumbee, you remember him. Caleb Plant, July 19th in London on the Zone pay-per-view. Do not forget, we have a heavyweight battle, baby. Oleksandr Usyk is rematching Daniel Dubois. 12 rounds for Usyk's WBC, WBO, and WBA heavyweight titles. And it's also for Dubois' IBF heavyweight title. Also on the card, Lawrence Okoli is taking on Kevin Lorena, 12 rounds of heavyweight. So, yeah, heavyweight night in London on the Zone pay-per-view, July 19th. Big boxing night. On July 26th, we got a doubleheader. One in New York on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Xander Zayas is taking on Jorge Garcia, 12 rounds for the vacant WBO junior middleweight title. And Bruce Shushu Carrington is taking on Mateus Hayda, 12 rounds for the vacant WBC interim featherweight title. Also on July 26th in Detroit on the Zone, there's a title fight between the GWOAT, Claressa Shields. She's taking on Lonnie Daniels. 10 rounds for Shields' undisputed heavyweight championship. Also on the card, we have Samantha Worthington taking on Victoire Pitot. 10 rounds for the vacant WBA women's junior welterweight interim title. That's a tongue twister. August 2nd in Chicago on the Zone, we have Oscar Duarte taking on Kenneth Sims Jr., 12 rounds at junior welterweight. August 16th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. On the Zone, we have Moses Itoma taking on Dillian White, 12 rounds at heavyweight. And yeah, that's the slate for the next few weeks in boxing. Don't forget it. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Because I got a little shit to talk. As per usual. You already know what the fuck I'm about to talk about. Okay? This is a quick little segment of this week's wins, bitches. Yeah. Because you know what went down. Your boy got you another green check. Let's be honest. Your boy got you another green check. Let's talk about it. Now, I gave you guys a couple picks. Didn't I? I gave you guys a couple picks. I gave you guys these picks, actually. I gave you guys Chris Curtis. I gave you guys Gabriel Bonfim. And I gave you the over 1.5 in the Cater and Steve Garcia fight, which also you could have took it on FanDuel with over 2.5, and it still would have cashed for you. I didn't do that. I was too bitch made to do that. But yeah, baby. Little minus 156 with just the Curtis Bonfim parlay on FanDuel. And the parlay obviously cashes at plus 160. On DraftKings, Chris Curtis over 1.5 and Gabriel Bonfim. You're welcome. Come back next week. I got another hot serving of some fat parlays for you. Me and Luke. If you also followed on the Main Card Minute, Luke had a perfect week. Don't forget about Luke's perfect week on the Main Card Minute. So you guys better be showing up Saturday. I think I'm going to be doing the prelims, and then we'll move on over to Luke for the main card and the UFC card. I ain't doing boxing. I'm out. It's going to be a long-ass fucking day. So, yeah. this week's wins, motherfuckers. Hopefully we can have another one next week because, well, it's just nice to have a green check on the channel, isn't it? It's just nice to cash a parlay and have it sit in the account after, just getting a free pick. Somebody that's giving out free picks. That's right. Free picks over here. Come get your hot free picks. Yeah, over here. One more round fights. Yeah, this week's wins, bitch. This week's fucking wins. Rob Louis says, good fight, but hope they didn't rematch it. What do you think they do next with Hamzah? I mean, Canelo, but that probably not going to happen. I mean, you never know. Turkey loves that motherfucker. Turkey loves him, and he's got his clutches around Canelo right now. So he could, yeah, I can see that shit happening. Absolutely. Rob Louis says, you putting out picks or parlays for Usyk Dubois card or staying away from this boxing still? Funny you say that. Now, I may not put an actual parlay out, like an official one, just because if I put one out, then I have to put 3 parlays out for boxing, because there's 3 big cards. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that because that opens myself up to not get more green checks and just have a bunch of parlays that don't hit. And it spreads myself way too thin. So I will give you guys my picks right now, actually. I'm going to give you guys my picks. And when we simulate on Friday, I'll go deeper in depth on why I'm choosing these. And if I make any switches, you'll know why. So here we go first. We're going to do my picks on PFL Africa. All right? Johnny Eblen, Dakota Ditcheva, Corey Anderson. I know the odds are going to be doggy-doo on Dakota. That's right. I did that on purpose. Johnny Eblen, we might get him at like a -5, hopefully. Hopefully. They might bump his ass to -8. Shit. It's PFL, remember? And then Corey Anderson might be our best bet to bring the odds down. Maybe even AJ McKee, sprinkle AJ McKee in there. But those are the 4 names that I like right now. Those are the 4 names that I feel very confidently will bring us back some wins. And honestly, all 4 of them I feel can get a finish. Johnny Eblen and Dakota by TKOs. And I believe that obviously AJ McKee is available for any type of submissions. And Corey Anderson is available to arm triangle somebody or knock him out. So, yeah, I foresee a lot of finishes on PFL Africa, and I feel like PFL Africa is about to show the fuck out, especially with the show that the UFC just put on. You can bet your ass that the PFL Africa's got to show out this weekend. They can't have a dud card, so I expect a lot of finishes on this card. I really do. And all 4 of those names should show out as well. Now for my picks on UFC 318. I got to go with Max, guys. I got to. He fought him the first time very young. Fought him the second time. He just got to lightweight. Just got there. This third time, he's been to lightweight. He fought somebody that just knocked him out and knocked that guy out. Now, he may have just gotten knocked out by Ilia Topuria. Yes, I know this. Poirier's been knocked out himself not too long ago, so don't forget that. But I really feel that Max Holloway just has more juice left in the tank, has more incentives to win. And I don't think Max has ever lost 2 in a row. Poirier has never lost 2 in a row. Oof. But Max has to Volk. Oof. And to Dennis Bermudez and Connor. It is what it is. I'm still rolling with Max. He's not going to be in any parlays, but I'm still rolling with Max. I'm not sure if I'm going to bet it, but I'm still rolling with Max. I like Patricio Pitbull to beat Danny Ige. Danny Ige too stagnant at times, especially when he's facing guys his size. He sometimes plays the back foot too much and lets people steal the fight. Now, Patricio, obviously a danger to do that as well, but I feel like the second chance against somebody not much longer than him, this is going to be a way better shot to see how Patricio Pitbull would look at featherweight. So I think Patricio Pitbull gets a win here. Definitely a decision win. Daniel Zellhuber should get a finish. He should definitely get a finish. I mean, he's facing Michael Johnson, I believe. Vinicius Oliveira, I like him to beat Kyler Phillips. I feel like he's just the more active fighter, and Kyler's way too movement-based, where his movement will be circling around the outside, and Vinicius Oliveira will control the center and just beat him up against the cage when he wants to. And then don't forget he's got takedowns as well and submissions. So Vinicius Oliveira, very dangerous. I expect him to win that fight. And I expect Marvin Vettori to win the fight against Brendan Allen because, again, we've seen Brendan Allen come up short many times, time and time again. But Marvin Vettori only seems to come up short against the very, very fucking best. And his size is a lot for the division. So I think his style is just too much for Brendan Allen, especially with Brendan Allen, the way he fights. I think Vettori's going to be too much, and he's obviously going to win a decision because that's what Marvin Vettori does. But those are my UFC 318 picks. Don't forget to come on back for Friday. CP Units. It's making a comeback. All right. CP Units coming back this Friday. So don't you fucking be a bitch about it. Anyways, picks on Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios before I get out of here. I like a Barrios decision. Again, Manny Pacquiao coming back after 5 years away from boxing. Like, what the fuck is that? And he's lost to a lot of guys by decision. Okay. And some guys you'd be like, oh, he lost to that guy? It was by decision. I don't expect Mario Barrios to knock him out. It's possible, but I expect Mario Barrios to get a decision win. Again, he's probably fighting an idol of his. I could just see this going the distance. Guys want to spend as many rounds as they can with legends. That's just a fact of the matter. And I think this is going to be one of those cases where he's showing too much respect to Manny Pacquiao. And then in round 12, maybe he tries to go for the kill, but he doesn't get it. So Barrios decision. Fundora is taking on Tim Tszyu for the second time. The first time was a split decision win for Fundora. I expect this fight to look the exact freaking same, except Fundora is going to fix what he didn't have in the last fight, which is, resistance and the ability to stay on the outside. I think he's going to get in the pocket a little less. And when he does get in the pocket, he's going to hurt Tszyu. I think this will be a unanimous decision. Also, Tim Tszyu got knocked out after the Fundora fight and then barely won. He won against Joey Spencer, but he didn't look too great until he did get the knockout. So, yeah, I definitely have a lot of faith in Fundora. Then Isaac Cruz is taking on Angel Fierro for the second time. It was a split decision, I believe, last time. It's going to be a unanimous decision this time. I think Cruz is going to do even better. He's going to completely dominate. And then I like Figueroa to get the KO. Head forward style. He's got like almost 20 KOs in his career. I expect him to put his head down and get another one. I expect Brandon Figueroa to get a nice fat KO win. And that's my coverage of picks on that bullshit. We have picks on Jesse Bam Rodriguez and Cafu, bro. I like Jesse to get the KO, man. He's Bam for a reason, bro. He got power in those freaking hands. I like Bam Rodriguez to get the TKO, and I like Pacheco to get a decision win. I expect Pacheco to do what he does, man. Bounce on the outside, pump those jabs, and get the win. It's nice and solid. And I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I want to watch Rick and Morty. And then picks on Oleksandr Usyk and Daniel Dubois. Last but not least. Usyk knocked him out last time. Daniel Dubois talked a little bit of mess last time, saying that he felt like he hurt Usyk with a rifle body shot, and it was called a low blow, and he thinks he should have won by TKO. And Usyk definitely is a guy that's going to take exception to that. If he knocked him out last time, I expect him to knock him out again this time. Now, Usyk has had a lot of decisions recently, but the style that Daniel Dubois has is a style that favors somebody getting finished. So that's why I favor Usyk to get the KO here. And I also expect Lawrence Okolie to get the KO. Obviously, that him to get the KO is going to be like minus 1,000 at this point. So I expect him to get the KO in rounds 1 through 6. I expect him to get it early. He usually gets like a round 1, round 2 KO, or it happens like round 7. If it happens round 7, it is what it is, but I expect it to happen early. I don't think his opponent has too much for him. And that's it for me. Those are all my picks. That's my motherfucking show. I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. Don't forget, we're trying to get to 500. So if you got a burner account, motherfucking use it. We're trying to get to 500 subs. So don't forget to hit that QR code. Scan the QR codes below. Left side for the main card minute. Right side for this channel right here. One more round fights. All right, we're trying to get to 500. Richland Ford said he wants to take it from 499 to 500. So I just need four motherfuckers, man. 4 motherfuckers. That's all I need. And don't forget to follow on social. That's where we pull out the parlays. That's where we put out the CP Units parlay, the high risk parlay, the regular parlay, any other parlays we decide to put out, any other social cut downs for the week. We put them out there on one of those channels. Fuck you on X. Sometimes I live tweet the fights. It is what it is. Whatever. Don't forget to send your wins or any other weird shit to onemoreroundfights@gmail.com. Shout out to the sponsor that sucks. Any other sponsors, hit me up. I'm trying to, yay, man. You know what? You know what you got to do. I'm not going to waste any more time with that. I'm getting up out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Try to watch some Rick and Morty. Finish up some Love Island. Do whatever the fuck you got to do. Peace. I'm out of here.